the round 25 review, the final regular season preview, the final regular season preview of the season. First game, we've got the Raiders up against the Roosters in Mackay. Changes are Nickel Klukstad will start his first game of the season. Actually, that's an absolute guess. He could have started round one. He might have actually. Rapana to the wing. Warrior Hargraves, Kieran, Josh Morris, and Matt Ikuvalu all scheduled to return. Obviously, Joey Manu out. The Roosters are only just favourites in this. The line's 2.5, and I'll be honest, I'll be snapping that up. I'm taking Roosters head-to-head. Roosters at the line. I think we saw it against the Dragons. The Roosters, they're still a very good team and can put on points against anyone. So even though the Raiders have a lot to play for with a spot in the 8 on the offering, that's not English, but I'll take the Roosters at the line and the Roosters at head-to-head. That moves us into Friday 6 o'clock. Melbourne with their only Friday 6 o'clock game, I swear. Up against the Sharkies. Moylan swaps with Metcalf on the bench. So Metcalf will now come off the bench. Nelson Asafa Solomona, Dale Finucane, and George Jennings all scheduled to return from injury for the Storm. Harry Grant's bench and for the Cheese, and Melbourne have rested a lot of players. I'm not going to read out the people who've been rested all for any team. The line's 9.5. I'm actually going to take it, and I'm going to take them head-to-head. I think it's a generous line. I know the Sharks have been in good form, and similar to the Raiders, they have a lot to play for, but I think Melbourne make a bit of a statement and bounce back even without some of their best players. It could be a risky play, but it's Craig Bellamy. That's my main reasoning. Parramatta versus Penrith. The line's Panthers minus 28.5. Not really any changes for the Panthers. Para are resting a lot of players. I'm going to have to take Para at the line, but I'll be taking the Panthers head-to-head. Don't know off the top of the skull who Parramatta are resting. I know Gutho's out. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who wins that one and by how much. But yeah, I reckon Penrith will win. Not sure by how much. 28.5's a lot, so I'll take Para at the line. Brisbane versus Newey. That's the early Saturday game. Big game for Newcastle because if they want to do anything in finals, they've got to put on a bit of a show against Brisbane, and I think it's going to be hard for them. They're resting a few players. The line's 3.5. I'm actually going to take Brisbane here. I took them against the Warriors 2 weeks ago, and I've picked them to win a few upset games this year, and they've done me well. So I'm going to hop on them again. So I'm taking Brisbane at the line and Brisbane head-to-head. North Queensland, Manly. This could be an exciting game, actually, because North Queensland play exciting footy. This is in Townsville. Paseka and Kepi are back for Manly, which is big. The line's 22.5 in Manly's favour. I think I'm going to take North Queensland at the line, Manly at the head-to-head. It's a big line. Manly can put on points, but I think the Cowboys will score too many points to lose by that much, if you get me. South versus St. George, Saturday night at the sunny coast. Souths are resting a lot of players. Blake Taffy's been named at fullback. Zach Lomax is out for the Drags. Rabbitohs line's minus 2.5. They've got a lot of myths playing. Dragons could win this, The Dragons could win this. Oh, this is a tough one, actually. Part of me wants to go Souths with the same logic at the Melbourne thing, but Souths. Look, I actually don't know off the top of my head who's being rested. I know Walker and Reynolds are both being rested. I'm not sure if Cook's being rested. That would be another key one for me, or Murray. Murray is being rested because he's in my fantasy team and he's not playing, so I'm down to 15 players in my fantasy team. So I'm actually going to take the Dragons at the line and head-to-head, because why the fuck not? Sunday, last day of the regular season, Gold Coast versus the Warriors. Kevin Proctor's back for the Titans. Harris DeVita's back for the Warriors. Bunty Afoa is out for the Warriors. The line's 11.5 in the favour of the Titans. I can forecast this happening. Cronulla or Canberra win. Gold Coast are out of it. They come on and put an absolute show on, pump the Warriors in their final game, which would be a freaking dog act, but I can see it happening. I'll probably be going for the Warriors. Big fan of the Warriors, but Yeah, unfortunately, I think the Titans get up and I think they win well, maybe by 20-22. And I would love to see it though. If Canberra and Cronulla lose, it'll be hectic, especially if Cronulla don't lose by much and Gold Coast have to win by like 20 or 25, and they're just throwing the nut around. Oh, that'd be sick to watch. Great way to end it. And then finally, we end with one of the worst clashes of the season: the Tigers up against the Bulldogs at Redcliffe. This is following a Redcliffe game, I believe. No changes really for either team, or no changes of note. Tigers are the favourite at the line's -7.5, -7.5. I think the Tigers win head to head, but I'm not sure if they cover that line. I'm scared of the Bulldogs because I think the Bulldogs would have highlighted games like this. It's been a tough season for them. Games against the Broncos, games against the Warriors, games against the Tigers. They're games you highlight when you're a bottom team. I've been in a Aussie rules footy team who didn't win a game all season, and I know we highlighted 3 or 4 games against 2 or 3 of the weaker clubs, and we like trained the house down those weeks. So I am scared of the Bulldogs being with that mentality, and they have a lot of players playing their last game in the club, for the club or in the league. So for that reason, I'm probably going to take the Doggies at the line. I'm going to say it's a close one. I'm scared of a loss, but at the same time, when the pressure's off, the Tigers generally play a lot better. So I'm going to go Tigers head to head. Not sure about the line though. I'll go Doggies line, Tigers head to head, but hopefully we pump them by 15, which could also very much happen. It could see Brooksy cutting loose, which is what he usually does when the season's over. But that's been another episode of the On the Ball Potty. A short one, but we got a lot covered. Pretty proud of myself. But yeah, once again, if you have any spare change or, well, not even that, if you just want to donate to the Mullets for Mental Health campaign that I'm a part of, yeah, the donation link will be in the bio or the description, or it's also in my social media. So yeah, if you could check that out, that would be huge. As obviously in lockdown times, we've got to look out for each other's mental health, and the best way to do that is by propping up mental health institutions so they can offer professional support to others. So yeah, that's going to be it for this week's episode. Pumped for finals. Absolutely pumped for finals. People saying this round's going to be rubbish because people are getting rested and that's against the integrity or whatever they say, that the game's lost integrity. But the way I see it is, if you get the Storm this week, it's just luck of the draw. And unfortunately for the Raiders and Titans, the Sharkies have, but that's no different. Like the Tigers got Penrith in Origin. We beat them. We wouldn't have beat them if they were full strength. So I don't really get that argument. I know like it would be really frustrating as a Raiders fan or something if they lose to the Roosters and they can Sharkies punt the Storm. But for me, the teams in the top, they deserve the rest. That's what they've done. They've worked so hard all year. They deserve a rest because they've finished so well. One thing that could change it and not really affect the competition too much is if they had a wildcard weekend. For example, 7th plays 10th, 8th plays 9th. There's like in a play-in tournament, but yeah, I don't know if that would work too well, but that's like an idea I would cop, but I would not cop a finals bye. As someone who somewhat follows AFL, if there's anyone out there who doesn't, the finals bye has been the worst invention ever. It's like the biggest momentum killer. You know, the competition's building steam and you just take a week off and let fans just forget about what's happened and go follow other sports and do other activities. Not the thing to do. So yeah, if anyone's campaigning for that, I highly advise not to do that because it's an awful idea. But
unbelievable! Balotelli, Aguero! Crowd cheers. Here's Siddle. Oh, the ball is close. He's given him. He's given him. Peter Siddle's got.